When I released a video about how CFB Revamped revived NCAA Football 14, I didn't expect it to be literal, but one day later, EA dropped some of the most groundbreaking news regarding one of their most beloved franchises.
This is not a game, not a test. Get ready, boys, we about to run it up.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Jack, and welcome back to the Nitro Drive channel. Thank you guys so much for the positive feedback on our first video. That support was so strong that I knew we had to make this wish list for the newly announced EA Sports college football game, and I've been nearly sleepless making it since the news dropped, so we could get it up. So it would mean the world if you could take just a few seconds to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you could possibly know. Shameless plug aside, since we and the rest of the community seem to have many ideas when imagining the perfect college football game, I'm not doing this alone, however, and want to introduce the other half of Nitro Drive. Take it away, Noah.
Thanks, Jack. My name is Noah, or as people know me here on YouTube, Husky Nation TV. Like many, I had grown man tears when the news broke earlier this week that NCAA football was coming back. As a YouTuber who has played many hours of NCAA football dynasties, I am both excited for what the future possibly holds, but also nervous about the possibility of EA college football having more in common with Madden than the series that fans know and love so much. Just a warning in advance, this wishlist is highly ambitious, containing literally every feature we could think of. We're not suggesting that the game isn't playable if these features are absent from the first release, but this is simply our image of what the series could be capable of with the right direction. Rather than trying to raise the bar for what to expect, we believe in the importance of the community, embracing the idea that there's no chance for EA to know what their fans want if they stay silent, so we may as well dream big and use our imaginations.
One thing I can say for sure is if the first announcement for this game contains anything related to more Ultimate Team, then I may just lose all optimism I have for the reboot. So much of the community has backed this game series for its near addictive Dynasty and Road to Glory experiences. It seems simplistic, but the best start to this wish list is don't pull a Madden. If you want to include your microtransaction BS, then fine, but doing so should not limit the development of classic modes to promote it. Myself and so many of my colleagues want a good $60 experience, and that starts with Dynasty Mode. With that addressed, I want to move into Dynasty because it is the game mode that I have played the most. There are many improvements that can be easily made to strive towards the quote-unquote perfect Dynasty experience that will also exist on any avid fan's wish list, so we'll just breeze through them here. These features include implementing a fully customizable college football playoff, allowing uniform and stadium editing, allowing uniform rebrands, adding FCS teams, a fully customizable creative team that can be accessed in-game, improved playbook editor with creative play, fully customizable conferences, a modern redshirt system, coach contract negotiations, and the ability to hire and fire staff. While that's definitely a hefty list of features, the common theme is customization. Do you want to expand the FBS? Great, you should be able to just add a conference from the FCS or create an entirely new one full of team builder schools. No more 128 team rule. Allow uniforms to be rebranded and modernized the greater your team prestige becomes and the farther you get in your dynasty. Do you want a 4-team playoff? What about an 8, 16, or even 32 team? Do you play online Dynasty with a total a-hole and want to poach his entire coaching staff? This flexibility would offer the potential for just as much fun for the casual offline player as for the competitive online players.
As you probably noticed, recruiting was left off that improvement list, and that is because we have a much more in-depth plan to make this both customizable and immersive, so stick with us here. While each of the recruiting systems in each of the two previous titles set a very strong base, they each presented different features that could both be building blocks for an immersive and customizable Dynasty experience in the rebooted series. NCAA Football 13, as well as previous installments of the series, utilized phone calls and mailing letters of interest to your recruits. On its high difficulty level, it required you to strategize your call hours and the recruits you pursued based on how you pitched your school. If your program didn't offer what they desired, your chances of landing this prospect was slim to none. NCAA Football 14 opted to turn away from this, featuring a simplified points-based recruiting system that offers less difficulty in immersion, but is easier for the casual player who didn't want to invest as much time in the recruiting process. However, the addition of a recruiting difficulty setting was sorely missed in this game, as anyone could build an elite program with minimal effort. Considering both sides of the argument, rather than settling the debate in this video, Why not solve this problem in the new game with the option to change or flip between recruiting systems within a dynasty with a difficulty level slider? Want a more immersive, demanding recruiting experience? You should be able to spend countless hours pitching your program to top talent in hopes to gauge their interest. How about taking a feature out of Maximum Football's book where top talent won't even consider your school if it isn't up to their standard? Just imagine the potential immersion of some of these battles in online dynasties. Yet, if you want a fast-paced, casual dynasty experience, the NCAA Football 14 system is for you. Options to change between both recruiting modes should be selectable or changeable at the start of each season and locked once prospects are generated.
But this isn't the only aspect of recruiting that should be addressed. Over time, the college football transfer portal has essentially become recruiting ground in itself, with so many former top prospects finding success in new programs if they end up lower on the depth chart than they would like to be. In previous NCAA football games, you didn't get to choose where players who transferred went, and the factors that made players transfer were often not consistent or did not make sense. Never did I ever see a junior or senior quarterback leave a program after being buried on a depth chart. In the real world, they transfer in huge numbers every year. In our game, we propose a multi-week transfer portal process very reminiscent of free agency in Madden, but unlike the University of Tennessee, instead of offering money, it's a recruiting period. That would be awesome. While they're at it, EA should add a more in-depth scouting feature reminiscent to real-world recruiting. For this, I think of the scouting bios in the older Madden games as a great start, but also adding high school stats, any off-the-field issues or accolades, and maybe even a highlight system. GPA should be crucial in this, as recruiting a player with lower academic success should be a risk. Offering additional combine numbers could only help the experience, and imagine what the perfect visit system could look like, featuring campus tours that you as the head coach would be responsible for conducting. The type of visit you lead should be significant in swaying your prospect's interest. While we're not suggesting that EA turns this into a college football RPG by any means, but when I sign the contract to become a collegiate program's college coach, I want to feel as if the decisions that I make directly affect the program.
But with Dynasty Mode covered, we can't forget about how much Road to Glory would benefit from more immersion as well. Playing Road to Glory mode in NCAA 14 always felt both too easy and simple. Grinding to be a 5-star player hardly offered a challenge, and therefore I never felt like it was special to be considered one of the nation's top prospects. Also, give me one good reason why as a player you couldn't even see team rosters, league injuries, schedules, and recruiting classes. In the real world, those are things that anyone can check with a quick Google search. So, if it's already in Dynasty Mode, it couldn't be too difficult to keep it in the game.
If our ideal Dynasty Mode offers a more immersive simulation of life as a head coach, then RTG should without a doubt have similar if not more features. As requested from us earlier, your actions on and off the field should affect decision making. You should have the ability to manage your time and try to balance football with school and your time as a student. I'm not saying that the ability to go to parties and do keg stands with your teammates should be an option, nor am I saying that a sports game should become a full-blown open-world life simulator, but imagine if RTG offered an hour system that requires you to balance your time studying and working out, and there being potential consequences of an imbalance. In this world, neglecting your academics could land you on probation and require you to take hours out of training the next week to catch up on studying, which would have an effect on your player's attributes in this situation. Imagine how cool it would be if you are academically dismissed from a school and have to transfer to an FCS program or even a selection of junior colleges to remake a name for yourself. That would be really cool. Additionally, our recommendation is to make most, if not all, Dynasty features viewable in RTG and even vice versa, but establish what tasks are for players and what are for coaches. This would apply to the practice mode feature that we proposed for Dynasty Mode as well. All of these improvements would provide significantly more longevity and depth, allowing you to actually feel like one of the players in a dynasty and experience the challenges of a college student athlete. Where before you could easily grind to a 5-star, get any offer you want, and spam a completely busted upgrade system. Also, to end our RTG wish list, fix the coach trust system.
The improvements in those two game modes could be separate videos themselves. Did we already mention liking and subscribing? Anyways, obviously those aren't all the improvements on our wish list, but the best possible direction our imaginations could wrap around for the game modes. There are obviously so many features with less depth that can both explain themselves and be critical improvements from previous titles. To wrap this list up, let's address some gameplay mechanics. It would be cool to see less dropped interceptions, fewer ghost tackles, the ability for quarterbacks to shadow wide receivers, way more trick plays, and improved contact animations such as gang tackling and more realistic trucking animations. Ultimately, all we can ask for from the series reboot is an engine that is not copy and pasted from Madden. Like seriously, EA, please do not do this. NCAA 14 had more enjoyable gameplay than any Madden game that's been released on the Frostbite engine. Find something new and be different.
Community trends such as #FixMaddenFranchise and NFL Drop EA hopefully express the general opinion of EA's recent works, but this video is not intended to criticize, but imagine what could be possible in a college football game with the right team, direction, and leadership. EA has a chance to right their wrongs, to once again make a respectable product. There's a lot of pessimism surrounding this new game, and while it may be for a good reason, videos like this one hopefully have a lot more influence than we could ever know. So make your voice heard as a member of the community. Did we miss anything? Comment down below what would be in your version of the perfect EA college football game. Also be sure to share this video within any communities you may be a part of so they can express their thoughts as well. Please drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, as it did take multiple days to put together and helps us tell our own story each and every episode. Thanks for watching.